Let me begin with a risky confession. When I first heard the topic, why we should not ignore boys when empowering girls, I was a bit uncomfortable. I remember telling my coach, but boys already have it better. And honestly, that's what many of us think, which is also the start of the problem. We assume that empowering girls somehow requires stepping back from boys. Like, if we lift up one group, we have to loosen our grip on the other. But two truths still exist at the same time. Girls need empowerment, and boys need guidance. Today, if you mention a boy in the conversation about gender, some people immediately think you're trying to cancel out the progress that girls have made. I'm not. That will make no sense. Women and girls have fought through many barriers in different parts of the world. They still do. Girls deserve education, opportunity, leadership, safety, and voice. But here's my concern, which should be our collective concern. Somewhere along the line, society started acting like boys will automatically be okay. Like they come with a built-in survival manual. Leave him, he'll figure it out. But many boys are not figuring it out. They are drifting quietly. And the scary thing about drifting is that you often don't notice it until much later and often too late. UNESCO reports that globally, 132 million boys of primary and secondary age are out of school. More than half of the out-of-school youth population are boys. Let's pause there for a second. That's not a side issue. That's a generation issue. Yet, when a conversation about vulnerable children happens, we often treat boys like the strong side, like the side that can cope. We forget that strength without guidance is dangerous. I remember a classmate, let's call him Dayo. Dayo was funny, extremely funny. The kind of student that could imitate teachers perfectly. He could walk into this room, and in 5 minutes, he had the materials to roast all of us. But academically, he was disappearing. Low grades, constant distractions, you name it. One day, a teacher finally asked him, "Dayo, what's going on?" Dayo laughed. He said quietly, "No one expects much from me anymore." That sentence stuck with me. So many boys don't get attention until they fail badly, misbehave publicly, or become dangerous. Very few get the attention while they are slowly falling apart. And this doesn't just affect families, it also affects schools. We talk a lot about broken homes, but we rarely ask how many broken men came before those homes. A boy who was emotionally ignored doesn't suddenly become emotionally healthy at 30. A boy who never learned responsibility doesn't magically become a responsible father because he bought a wedding suit. A boy who was taught to suppress his feelings often grows up into a man that cannot communicate well, cannot nurture, cannot protect a family, and most times cannot lead himself. And then society turns around and asks, why are families struggling? The answer started years earlier with a little boy nobody paid attention to. If your left leg is injured, you don't heal it by damaging your right leg. You strengthen both so that the body can stand. That's what healthy society does. They don't empower one child by emotionally abandoning another. In many homes today, girls are intentionally mentored, protected, encouraged, and prepared to be leaders, which is good, but boys are simply expected to man up. At age 10, at age 12, at age 15. Imagine telling someone who never learned emotional discipline to suddenly be a man. What does that even mean? We tell boys not to cry, then later we complain that they don't express their emotions. We tell boys not to appear weak, then later we wonder why some men hide their pains behind anger or silence. These days, the world blames boys for two things. First, for feeling pain. Second, for not knowing how to express it. And the consequences are already showing. In many countries, boys are falling behind reading, dropping out of school more, and graduating less from universities. Now, does that mean that girls no longer face challenges? Of course not. But every mature conversation can hold two truths at once. Girls still need empowerment, but boys still need intentional guidance. In fact, I'd like to argue something even stronger. Empowering girls becomes harder when boys are neglected. This is because these boys often grow up into classmates, co-workers, husbands, fathers, leaders. If they are unprepared, emotionally disconnected, or irresponsible, the society bears the price altogether. And this isn't just a male issue, it's a family issue. It's a human issue. It's a future issue. But the solution does not have to be complicated. Teachers can pay attention to that one quiet boy who has already checked out. Parents can stop assuming that their sons need less emotional support than their daughters. Mentors can start teaching boys that strength is not silence. Strength is discipline. Strength is accountability. Strength is being able to handle yourself and still take care of others. And most importantly, we need to stop treating boys like unfinished adults instead of children. Because they are children. They deserve correction too. They deserve guidance too. They deserve encouragement too. I still remember Dayo. Nothing dramatic happened. No big transformation. But something changed when people started paying attention to him. Little by little, he improved. Not only when he failed. So, sometimes that's the difference. The difference between a boy who drifts and a man who stands. So yes, empower girls. Absolutely. But don't just abandon boys and expect them to raise themselves. That experiment ended years ago. Let's try something even simpler. Not boys over girls, not girls over boys. Something better. Leave no child behind. Thank you.